So today we are diving deep into the incredible and frankly kind of mind-bending science of how sound and vibration actually interact with our bodies. We're going to push past the myths and look at the hard biophysical evidence to figure out what is really going on when sound meets our cells. I mean, just think about that question for a second. Can a simple vibration literally wash your brain? I know, it sounds a little out there, right? Like something from science fiction. But that's the central mystery we're investigating today. And the answer, well, it's way more surprising than you might think. Okay, so to even begin to answer that, we have to start with the medium itself. And guess what? That medium? It's us. We have to start thinking of our bodies as a kind of sonic matrix, basically a resonating body of water. So picture this. The average adult is about 60% water. That's a lot. And because our biological systems are mostly made of water, our bodies are essentially perfect resonating chambers for mechanical stuff like sound. You can think of it like hitting a drum. The sound doesn't just go through it, it makes the entire structure vibrate. And if the body is a resonating chamber, the brain is the ultimate acoustic sponge. I mean, look at this. The core tissue itself is 73% water, and then it's literally floating in cerebrospinal fluid that is 99% water. This incredibly unique, fluid-saturated design makes the brain hyperreactive to even the tiniest changes in pressure from sound and vibration. And here's the wild part. You don't even need to put on headphones for this to work. Just the vibrations from your own voice, when you're talking or humming or singing, creates this gentle mechanical massage. And that physical movement, that little jiggle, actually helps push metabolic waste out of your brain tissue. It's pretty amazing. All right, so if our own voice can do that, what happens when we start talking about specific, targeted frequencies? Let's dive into the actual physics of how these vibrations interact with our biology. I'm sure you've heard this one online, right? The big debate about tuning music to 432 Hz versus the standard 440. For a long time, this was kind of brushed off as mystical nonsense. But let's look at it from a purely physical point of view. Can our cells and all the water inside them actually perceive a difference of just 8 Hz? And this right here is the big aha moment from a really fascinating study. Using a special technique to observe water molecules, researchers zapped water with both frequencies. And this is where it gets really cool. The temperature of the water actually dropped. Now think about that. That means the sound energy wasn't just being lost as heat, which you'd normally expect. It was being used for something, to rearrange the water molecules into a more organized, stable structure. And as you can see, the 432 Hz frequency was just better at it. But, and this is a huge but, we have to be really clear here. Not all vibrations are good for you. This slide is so important. Our own organs have natural resonance frequencies, and they're all in this super low frequency band, mostly between 3 and 17 Hz. If you're exposed to strong vibrations in that range, it doesn't heal you. It actually creates dangerous mechanical stress on your tissues. So the frequency and the intensity are absolutely crucial. And that brings us back to that 432 Hz music. Check this out. This wasn't just some feel-good experiment. It was a rigorous double-blind study, and the results were unmistakable. People listening to music tuned to 432 Hz had a significant drop in their average heart rate. We're talking almost 5 beats per minute, and they had lower blood pressure. This is real, measurable data showing how a tiny shift in frequency can have a direct calming effect on our bodies. Okay, let's take a deep breath, because now we're wading into the most, let's say, controversial part of this whole topic. The idea that our thoughts, our intentions, can physically alter water. We need to be careful here and really separate the science from the pseudoscience. First off, let's get one thing straight. This idea you might see online of buying bottled, permanently structured water, that's pseudoscience. The bonds in regular water just don't last long enough for that. However, the science on the right is real. Right at the edge of our cells, water can form these temporary, highly ordered structures called exclusion zones. And it's thought that forces like sound can actually encourage these little zones to form, which could have big implications for cellular energy. Now, I'm guessing most of you have seen these incredible pictures of water crystals from Masaru Emoto. They're stunning, right? But from a scientific standpoint, his methods, well, they had some serious holes. No blinding, picking and choosing the prettiest photos. It just wasn't rigorous. But then you have the Institute of Noetic Sciences, or IONS, which set out to test the very same idea, but with an incredibly strict, double-blind scientific protocol. And what they found was pretty mind-blowing.
In their study, water that was the focus of positive intention from people thousands of miles away was rated as significantly more beautiful by judges who had absolutely no idea which sample was which. The statistical probability of that happening by pure chance, p equals 0.001. That's a 1 in 1,000 chance of it being a fluke. That's something you can't just ignore.
So, all of this, the water, the frequencies, even intention, it all leads us to our final and honestly most exciting section. We're talking about a genuine revolution in neuroscience, the brain's very own sonic hygiene system.
This is what we're looking at here, the glymphatic system. Think of it as the brain's built-in waste disposal network. You can see on the graph, when we're awake, it's mostly turned off. But when we hit that deep, restorative sleep, the part with those big, slow delta waves, the system kicks into overdrive. This is literally the brain's nightly deep clean, washing away dangerous toxins like the ones linked to Alzheimer's.
So you're probably asking, okay, that's great, but how do we turn this thing on? And believe it or not, this is where sound comes roaring back into the picture. The right kind of immersive sound can actually guide your brain into producing those slow delta waves. That causes a key neurotransmitter to be inhibited, which then allows the space between your brain cells to expand by a whopping 60%. The floodgates open, and the clearance rate of those nasty toxins literally doubles. There's this fantastic saying in neuroscience that just nails it. Neurons that fire together, shower together. That synchronized firing, which can be triggered by sound, acts as the physical pump that drives the cleaning fluid through all the nooks and crannies of your brain. It is, quite literally, a brainwash. And what's so amazing is that this brand new discovery, it connects so perfectly to what ancient cultures seem to have known all along. Places like the Hypogeum in Malta were basically giant resonance chambers built to vibrate at 111 Hz, a frequency known to induce trance-like states. Tibetan mantras have peaks at frequencies that align with the Earth's own resonance. Even overtone singing creates a sound that messes with the brain in a good way, forcing it to adapt and create new connections. So when you put it all together, it's pretty clear that sound isn't just something that enters our ears. It's a physical force. It's a tool that can structure the very water we're made of and even kickstart our brain's self-cleaning cycle. And that leaves us with one final very important question. If sound really can physically reshape our inner world, what will we choose to listen to?